Hello everybody and welcome back to Cataclysm Dark Days Ahead. This is the story of Brandon Rubio, the hobo. We're back in Sylvan Lake, but now we're in the Last Man on Earth shelter. And I've moved everything over from the FEMA camp, and I zoned everything. I'll just look at it real quick. I zoned out my armor, clothing, containers, drink, food, perishable items, the unsorted containers, chemicals, tools, books, drugs, other manuals, weapons, and keys. So they're all pretty much right here in this area. I put my oil lamp right here on the table. It only sheds 1 square of light, unfortunately. And I thought it was going to light up the whole room, but no, it doesn't. So that's disappointing. But anyway, it'll give me enough light to craft just right there. Food and drink and clothing over here, and then I've got all this random stuff piled up right here. So the recipe I was looking at, where we're going shortly, is going to be this. I want to try a bow, and so the only recipe I've got is for the survival bow. That requires the bowry proficiency, which I don't have, but I can still craft it in roughly 2 hours if I have a plank or a stick, and here's the thing, 12 short cordage or 12 short strings. I think I can get a bunch of strings from the FEMA shelter. I'll just take all the curtains down. 2 long cordage pieces, this kind of thing. So we'll get that. Then we've got to look at arrows for it. Whoop. Can't do bow arrows. Arrows for it. Whoops. I think we can only search for the word arrow, not arrows. So we've got a recipe for a crude wooden arrow, and that's just going to require a plank or a stick, which I can make. Okay, fine. Then I've got one more recipe to look at, because long term I'd like to do some hunting and butchering, and for the really proper butchering I need a rope so I can hang the animal from a tree, and then a flat surface out at the crafting area. So as far as rope goes, this is the category ropes and cordage, and I've got my, say, long cordage pieces. I can make one with 6 withered plants. Now, how many of these long cordage do I need for a rope? I need 180 short strings. That's a lot. 30 long strings. I can make it from 5 short ropes. Okay, I can't go directly to cordage. Well, a long cordage rope, let's say, could be made from, is this good enough? Yeah, this will suspend a corpse for butchering. 150 short cordage, or 30 long cordage, or I could make a long cordage rope from 5 short cordage. Okay, ropes, 5 short cordage ropes. So a short cordage rope I can make with 36 cordage pieces. So I need 36 cordage pieces to make the short cordage rope. And then I need 5 of those, right, for the long rope? Long cordage rope? Yeah. 5 times 36 cordage pieces. Alright, so how much does a cordage piece take? 1 willow bark. So if I get 150 willow bark or 150 withered plants, I'm good to go. Long cordage can be made from 6 withered plants. So if I had enough long cordage, can I not make it directly from long cordage pieces? That's interesting. What if I go down here and look? Well, anyway, I don't want to spend too much time looking at this, but this is the plan, because I need the cordage ropes and so on for the bow, and for the rope I want for my butchering. So that's on my to-do list. And this is going to involve, I just woke up from a long sleep. We're on day 63. So it took me basically half the night to move all the inventory items back over here from the FEMA camp. And it's morning, and it's a relatively pleasant day outside. So I'm going to spend the day probably just meandering around in the forest. I've got plenty of it all around me and all to my left. And it seems to be relatively safe. If anything evolves, I'll turn the camera on, but in the meantime, I'm going to take a cut here. Alright folks, here's where we are now. Morning's not over yet, and I think that blackjack oak was my best friend. But I didn't get it all yet, but I want to start with the bow. So if I look at my crafting menu and I find my bow, I just did that a second ago, but we'll look one more time. I think it's 2 cordage. We've got this survival bow, and I need 2 long cordage, I think it says. There it is. 2 long cordage pieces. I should be able to craft those now. So let's go to other, and the long cordage piece, which I can make from a multitude of ingredients. So let's start with the willow bark. Now this is a kind of a long craft. I think it's 45 minutes each. And then I'm going to kind of repeat that recipe. Maybe it'll let me switch. Here we go. Now the tan bark is what I was getting from the blackjack oak. I'm going to go with the withered plant. Alright, 45 minutes later, we've got 2 long cordage pieces. I should now be able to craft the bow. Here we go, under bows. Yeah, the survival bow. This is going to take bowery. We're looking at a 2-hour craft time. Now let's go for it. And if this works, we'll throw out some arrows. I messed up and lost a little progress, but I got the bow crafted. That means I want to make some arrows just to try this thing out with. So I'm going to look up the arrow recipe. And it says I can craft some crude arrows. I have 3 sticks. Okay, well, rather than try to haul a bunch of sticks down here, what I did is I hauled these... Wait a minute, how am I going to do this? Oh yeah. I need to activate my headlamp because that doesn't cast enough light. Here we go. I put some long sticks over here, and I found it under my disassemble menu. If I look down here, my 12 long sticks that I hauled down here, each one can yield 2 sticks. So I think I'm just going to break about 6 of these. I did it again. I'm always wielding something. Alright, stop wielding the combat knife. Store it in my sheath. And then in my inventory I have the in-process assembly. Here. I want to activate that. There we go. So I recovered 2 sticks per, so I'm just going to do that 5 more times. You can no longer make that craft. Really? And why is that? Now, you disassemble the long stick. You drop your sticks onto the carpet, and you recover 2 sticks. Oh, that's right. Because I hit the craft button instead of the disassemble button. I thought I could recraft it the same way. Now there may be a batch function for this, so I've done 2 of them. Let's see if there's a batch command for this. If I go here, I don't see any keyboard shortcuts for it. Okay, we'll just do this 3 more times. It's not a big deal. Yeah. Two more times and 1 more time. There we go. So we've disassembled half of our long sticks. And that gave us some sticks to work with. So I have feathers, but I think my bowery is probably too low to make a better arrow. That's where I'm going to start with. That should be ammo, I guess. So the only arrow that it gives me to try is the crude wooden arrow That's going to practice my carving, actually. Okay. So it's 30 minutes per arrow. I have 15 sticks. I'm going to make 15 arrows. Now there is a batch for this. Here we go. Let's go ahead and make all 15 arrows. Now this is going to be a long craft. It's going to get my carving up, I am almost certain. Then we'll practice with the gun, practice some throwing, practice with the bow, get some skills up. Alright, I'm thirsty and hungry. I've exerted myself a bit. I'm 40% done. How's my focus? My focus is good, but my weariness is already light, so this crafting is just wearing me out. I just got a good night's sleep, and it's probably noon, and Brandon's already exhausted from making these arrows. Oh no, my headlamp ran out of energy. Okay, but that's fine because I'm standing at the table with the oil lamp. You craft crude wooden arrows and put them on the table. Very good. Now surely that only got my carving up to 55%. Wow, that's amazing. And only got my bowery up to 5%. That's interesting. Alright, I want to get the arrows off of there. And and I'll have to wield the survival bow. There we go. And I also want to... How do I turn off the oil lamp from here? I can't do it with the examine menu. Can I do it with the apply menu? Yeah, I can apply the oil lamp from here and turn it off. There we go. Okay, so one thing I can practice, and I meant to do this before. I don't know if I can do this in the dark. Oh, speaking of the dark, let's get rid of this headlamp. That is out of energy. Or I could grab a battery for it, actually. I put batteries where? Here? Yeah. There's a dead battery. There's a good battery. And then in my inventory, I should be able to go over here to the headlamp and reload it. Headlamp and reload. With I didn't have to pick up the battery to do that. So I've got a good battery in my jacket, and I've got one on the floor. So the one this one has less energy. Let's just get it out of the way. Okay. Now, all right, my headlamp has what it needs. That's good. But we can go up in the daylight to do this quick practice thing. What am I wielding now? I've got the bow in my hand. Now, before I practice with the bow, though, this should just take a second. I want to practice with the gun. So I'm going to drop the bow on the ground for a second. I'm going to wield the MP40. And I'm going to hit my practice button. Or go to the practice menu. Whoops. Practice. I want to practice my marksmanship. Now this says that I'll dry fire the gun, so this shouldn't use any ammo. That's weird. So I'm wielding the MP40, and it wants me to dispose of it, put it down, store it in my inventory, or drop it on the ground. I'll store it in my inventory, I guess. You wield and activate the in progress. Yes. Inventory. It is wielded, so I need to activate my gun. I can modify the equipment or detach gun mods. There's something odd going on here. Let's try this again. What do you want to do with the in-progress marksmanship beginner 0%? I don't know what dispose of means. I'm afraid to click it. But why should I have to drop that? Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Maybe that marksmanship doesn't have to do with my gun at all. Maybe that's the problem. Let's look. Maybe I'm just reading it wrong. Marksmanship. Practice action will not increase. Practice your shooting by dry firing a gun. Tool required. One tool with gun of one or more. Now, because we're dry firing it, I wonder if that means I need to unload it. Perhaps that's the problem. So I've got something on the ground here. Get. What's on the ground? Wield. Can I wield the... Here it is. Wield the in-process thing. What do you want to do with this? Store that in my inventory. Activate. Okay, that felt really strange, but we got it done. Alright, my theoretical understanding has increased. Now I've got this other one. Let's wield it. I can't wield that one? Okay. Can I drop the other in-process marksmanship beginner? That is quite odd. Okay. Hopefully we don't have that much trouble with the bow. I'm going to wield the bow and see if what we can do for practicing with the bow. Can we do the same thing with it, basically? No, I cannot practice my athletics. Why? And I can't practice more marksmanship because it will raise it to 1. Okay, so there's no way to practice with this bow in the same way that I practice the other things. Interestingly, I can't practice throwing either, but I must not have brought my football up here. Alright, so now how do I notch an arrow? Did I grab my arrows? Where are the arrows? So I've got a... Why is the hammer marked? Examine. It's a demagnetized steel claw hammer with a wooden grip. It's got 3 hammering, 1 prying, 1 nail prying. Doesn't say anything about being... Oh, marked must mean that it's got a few marks on it from use. Ah, there's my arrows. Now, it says crude wooden arrow, 150. Did I make 150 arrows by accident? When you make an arrow, does it make 10 arrows? Oh, man. Wow, I probably didn't need that. But anyway, okay. If I go to fire my... Oh, no. You need at least a strength of 6 to use this survival bow. So, characters with 5 strength cannot use bows, apparently. Oh, that's so disappointing. I'm going to examine these arrows and see how many there are, if there's 150 of them. It's a crude pointed wooden shaft with a notch at the back. Amount 150. Okay, well that's good to know. That's good to know that 1 stick basically makes 10 arrows. Or so. Oh, I'll never make 150 arrows again. And I'll never have a 5 strength character again. I'm sorry to say, Brandon, I'm so sorry, you're so weak. But you were randomly chosen by the generator. I don't think I would have chosen to make a 5 strength character on my own cognizance. Oh man. Alright, well, we're gonna have... I'm not sure I've got a weapon stack, do I? Here, let's look at the zones. I do have a weapon zone. It's right there. So I can just drop the survival bow and the arrows on the ground. And the dead battery. And auto sort the items out, like so. And that's done. Now I was gonna get my throwing skill up. So, where was that football? Here it is. I'm gonna try throwing this football, and was there another skill I could practice up? Well, now if I can throw a football, maybe I can make a sling and I can sling stones if I can't do arrows. So let's look at weapons, and is there a sling weapon here? Let's look here like this. There is. So a makeshift sling. Wait, I've done this before. That is not a weapon. That makeshift sling is a cover for the back torso. Well, there's a slingshot. Well, you need a rubber hose for that. Huh. All this stuff says that it's sling ammunition. Single point sling. Single point sling. That's a harness going over your shoulder and chest. Slingshot ammunition. Pebbles. Okay. But this thing right here. Is this really the weapon? You wear the weapon? Possibly? Alright, I wanted to say something here about firing ammunition. Page down. Oh, page up. Can we go over here? No. Oh, here. Scroll down like this. This definitely says everything about being a storage container and nothing about being a weapon. So I am slightly confused. That may require a Google. Alright, let's take the football out. Or maybe, can we practice with it in here? Can I apply the football? Or can I go to my skill menu to practice throwing the football? Intermediate athletics can be practiced at an exercise machine. Oh, really? Now I can bring my athletics up to as high as 5 by using these exercise machines. Okay, okay. Excellent, excellent. But I can't practice my throwing with this football, apparently. Huh. I thought you surely could, but maybe I just have to throw rocks. Now we've got... I can practice leather working, but I don't have the tools. I can practice rifles. Aim at a game target practice kit. Aim game target practice kit. So I think I need to make a target to practice more. Throwing. Here we go. I need a baseball, basketball, beach volleyball, bearings, marble, RPG die, rock. However, football is not on the list. That's interesting. Okay, well, forget the football. Here, let's go ahead and throw the football. Throw the football. It says, where do I want to throw it? Just throw it up against that wall. I'm going to look and see if that actually did give me any throwing skill. Throwing. 1%. So if I throw that football 100 times... Uh-oh. There it is. Is that it? Okay. It went and it bounced. Let's grab some rocks and see if it'll let us practice our throwing. So I need to be able to search. Can I search? Can I hit not S? Pick X items. Filter / Is that it? And then search rock. There we go. Oh, that's easier. Pick up to 16 rocks. Wonder if I can throw them in the dark here. If I can call up my practice skill or not. So we go to practice. Yep, I can practice beginner throwing. You can't see to craft. Okay, we need to go into a light area to do the throwing practice. So we'll use that tree as a target, let's say. Go over here and practice throwing. You start working on the Your proficiency has increased. So my question is, can it increase more? Let's keep going. Okay. I think we're done. I can do more throwing practice. Oh, I can get my throwing skill up to 3 apparently. But I don't know where I'm throwing these rocks. Now, once again, a giant cloud has passed over my head. Now you guys tell me. Bota, Dwarf Elvish Diplomacy. You see this big shadow going right over my head? Oh, is it? Oh, it's night now. It is night. Wow, I spent all day crafting and goofing. So now I can no longer practice my throwing because it's too dark. Alright, well that's fine. I'm also moderately weary, hungry, and thirsty. So I guess it's time to call it a day. Go eat, drink, sleep, and be merry. And if I'm going to craft that rope, oh, I tell you, my whole plan is blown. I was going to go for that bow and arrow, thinking it was basically a dexterity weapon, but it's not. I need strength. And then I was going to use my bow and arrow to hunt animals and take them over to my fancy butchering station and, live a good life. And how am I going to hunt animals now? I got to use a hand weapon. Oh, I got to go refocus on that spear. For that, I need a drilling tool. Oh my goodness! I'm off in the weeds again. Off in the weeds. All right, I'm gonna make a cut here, folks, and or this may be the end of the video, depending on how much time I've got in. But either way, I'll be back, and we'll see you next time.